Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to the lecture series of O level IGCSE Physics 5054. Our today's topic is length measurement. We are going to talk about how length is measured and which instruments we prefer to measure the length. So, when we talk about the measurement of the length is the important quantity in physics. Uh, its SI unit is meter, as you can see. So we use different instruments or different scales through which we can measure length. It depends upon its precision or the limitation of the instrument through which we are measuring. As we know, the meter rule and tape measure, these are different instruments, as you can see here. Uh, these instruments mostly used for the measurement of the length. Now, meter rule can measure the length up to 1 meter, and steel tape can measure the length up to several meters. Mostly, we can say it can measure up to 100 meters of the length. And suppose we are measuring a curved surface like a waist of a person, then we prefer tape measurement. As you can see in this picture, there are several prefixes mentioned which are used for low scale measurement. As we have discussed in the previous video, that if we want to measure the length up to very small scale, then instead of using simple notation, simple normal mathematical notation, we prefer prefixes or powers of 10. So as you can see, the radius of hydrogen nucleus, it is mentioned here, its value is of the order of 10 raised to power minus 15 to minus 16. Minus 15 is actually preferred. Size of a typical atom is 10 raised to power minus 10. So if we write it in the simple notation, it can be written as 0.000 and something and so on. So average width of human hair is 0.01 meter. So it can be preferred to write in 10 raised to power minus 4 meter. So what is meant by the precision of the instrument? The precision is called the smallest unit of an instrument that can measure its length, or the limitation of the instrument, that an instrument can measure up to how much extent. Uh, its value is zero point 0.1 centimeter or 1 millimeter in case of meter rule, and this is the smallest value that we can measure through meter rule. If we want to measure some smaller values, then the instrument then we use different instrument for this. Like if you want to measure the thickness of a piece of paper, uh, then we cannot use meter rule, because it does not lie in its scale, so you cannot directly measure the paper thickness using a meter rule. Now if we want to measure and the accurate reading, and we want to avoid errors, then how we can do it? If we want to measure the length through a meter rule, then an important observation should be in consideration is that your eye should be positioned such that your line of sight is perpendicular to the rule, as you can see in this picture. Uh, if we measure through a different angle, then the reading is not accurate. So this is the accurate measurement, this is inaccurate measurement. Now as you can see, the accurate length here is 2.9 meter here, and this is 1 meter, so difference is 1.9 centimeter. Here 3, and it's 0.9, so 2.1 centimeters. So this is the difference. Possible zero error at this end. Normally we can say that, note that some meter rules have their zero mark at the very end of the rule, so we have to mark suitable point for the measurement. Okay, So this is another observation where larger values are measured, and we have mentioned in the previous lecture about the prefixes. So here you can see the distance traveled by light in 1 year. It is the 9.5 of into 10 raised to power 15 meter. So 10 raised to power 15 meter, it's a larger value. So we use better notation in the powers of 10. So this is about the measurement of the length. Now I am going to discuss some relevant MCQs in the past paper. An MCQ in the paper of June 13, it's paper 1, that's question number 2, which is relevant to our today's topic. The question was, before marking the finishing line on a running track, a groundsman measures out its 100-meter length. Which instrument is most appropriate for this purpose? So a groundman is measuring the 100-meter length. Which instrument is preferred? The options are meter rule, option B 30 centimeter ruler, option C measuring tape, and option D is micrometer. So as we can see, we are measuring the 100-meter length, and meter rule can measure only up to 1 meter. Its maximum value is 1 meter. 30 centimeter ruler is again, it's a very less than 1 meter. Micrometer is also used for a very smaller values, which we will discuss in the upcoming videos. Micrometer, screw gauge, vernier caliper. So this instrument is preferred for measuring 100-meter length. Measuring tape, as I mentioned in this in today's lecture, it can measure up to 100 meter. 100 meter is its maximum limit, which we can measure through this instrument. So hopefully you like the lecture, and in the upcoming video we are going to talk about the vernier caliper and screw gauge. Thank you.